TV, Star Trek The Next Generation, Godzilla, Farscape, Charmed, and The Twilight Zone, all for free.
I wanna be free.
It's TV the way it should be. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
I wanna be free.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com. All right, opening things up here on a Tuesday with Picks and Roll. Sean Bedard and myself sat down a little earlier today, talked all things NBA, and of course, the 76ers, as you just heard, with that terrific beatdown, that incredible beatdown against the Lakers last night. 44 points, handed LeBron James' worst loss in NBA history. I mean, that says something, John Jansen. Sean Brace, John Jansen, Daily Ticket, let's go. That means something. If you're handing a guy who literally just took over all-time minutes in NBA history, we don't need to go down the accolades of LeBron frickin' James.
No, go down the list so we can waste the entire segment.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's been around the league for a long time.
Also, give him another record, the largest loss of one of, or was it the largest loss of his career? I think by point deficit.
We just opened a show, and I could tell you weren't listening to me.
Yeah, I wasn't.
No. That's great. Great start.
Okay. We're doing, what do you mean? I was listening.
That's what I just said.
Okay.
It's what I just said. Like what? What are you doing at the start of the show that you could not hear me? Well, first of all, Jansen saw a freaking movie at 10:30 in the morning.
I'm so disoriented right now. I was here at the studio at 5 a.m. I left to see a matinee at 10:30.
What?
The most disorienting movie, craziest movie I could have seen. It was called Saltburn. It was wild. Like I could tell you that this movie's weird, and I could make you expect that this movie's going to be weird, and it's going to be much weirder than I can ever say. It was wild, and so I walked out of that disoriented as heck. It was a bad idea. I think it was a chaotic decision.
Yeah.
And I'm paying for that decision at the moment.
Yeah, I think we got 90 minutes total here. So lock in. Would you lock in?
I was trying to find a Flyers bet.
Okay, all right. That's a good call. I'll live with that then. All right. You should have responded.
I think that's what I was doing. Because I actually don't even remember what I was about to do.
We are going to see the Flyers tonight.
Let's go, Kay. Flyers.
Last time you were at a Flyers game.
I was at one last year, I think. I was in January, or this year, I think early January.
You made it to a Flyers game? Oh, no, this year, not this season.
Not this season.
Oh, I'm like, damn,
this year.
Dude.
I went to 2 Flyers games, I think, last season.
I did.
And one of them was in January.
I haven't been to a Flyers game in probably 2 years, 2 seasons, I don't think. I would love to go back into my Rolodex and see, or my iPhone and pull out, see if I've been there or not, but I don't believe I have. However, tonight we're going. And we will be watching a team that we know very well, the Carolina Hurricanes.
They are the first team I ever went to a hockey game to see. That was my first game, Carolina Hurricanes.
Interesting. Yeah, that was for me too, actually, believe it or not, in Raleigh. I was there when they first opened things up, and then they went on their way. And then, of course, I was there before they won the Stanley Cup.
I was about to say, were you there in 2006 is when they won the Cup?
Yeah, I was there from, 01, 02, 03, 04, and they were awesome. They ripped it up. They were making some runs. I actually got into a fight. I tell this story a lot. I got into a fight with Montreal Canadian fans in the parking lot. Think about that. In Raleigh, North Carolina, I fought hockey bros. Wasn't good. I ended up getting jumped. I think I was running my mouth. Probably deserved it. Whatever. But messed with Canadians.
Whatever. That part we can skip over that part.
It was a Montreal Canadian playoff game. And the Carolina Hurricanes won that series. But I remember being down there, and that was insane. They ended up losing the next round. And then, of course, as you just said, they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. Anyways, but not tonight. Tonight,
Flyers are plus 136 dog.
oh, we're going with
They're
the
a
home
dog.
We're going with the home dog.
We're going with the home dog.
Yeah, I believe. I'm all about some Flyers hockey. Yeah, we're taking the Flyers.
Do we believe? I guess I do. Do I?
I mean, Carolina isn't doing all that great to start off the year. As I'm looking at their record right here, they're 12-8. Flyer guys are 11-9-1.
Man, this is going to be the most painful segment. Us trying to talk about hockey.
Well, we don't do that. Like, we're not stupid here. I mean, this is why we need.
No, that was a very serious. Put it on the board.
We need Larry.
We
Hibbett
here at the
Jr.
Gambler plus 136. Flyers money line. Lock it in.
I will dip my toe into the hockey waters when that time comes. I'm jabbing. I'll pay attention. You get in my car. Who's got the NHL Network on the?
You do have the
dial?
NHL Network on the dial.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's weird to be hearing hockey. I think we were on our way to like a one of the things at Hard Rock. Like we were, if there was football that could have been talked about and that we could have been listening to, and you were like, hey, let's actually get, catch up on some hockey.
I flip through the channels and I enjoy that so I can catch up what's happening at Hot Stove, MLB.
Because you were disgusted with one channel. I remember it was the college one of the college football channels. You're like, why aren't we talking college football here? Because like it was a crazy weekend and they were talking everything other than college football, and you got upset, so you just put on the hockey channel. Yeah, and credit to the hockey channel.
They were talking
games. Hockey.
That's it.
They were talking about the game.
Yeah, they ain't messing around. Pucks and sticks.
You were so upset. College football just had a great weekend. Why are we not talking about college football?
Put the puck on the net. That's how you win. Shout out Jason Martinez. All right. With that being said, let's stop messing around. Let's get on over because there's going to be a quick segment. 4:30, we'll have Jeff Parles live from Vegas. Always great to get Jeff on. Plenty of college football coming our way. When Parles joins the conversation, we'll also talk NFL Week 13.
You know what hit my inbox, by the way?
What?
That Heisman vote. I got that email in yesterday, a couple days ago.
My guy Yogi Roth asked he asked everybody to not vote just yet.
Oh, yeah. You got to wait till after the championship.
But you don't.
No, you do. I mean, you don't have to.
Correct.
But if you want to be, good at that's give it fairness, then yes.
All right. Well, we'll come back to the college football conversation. We got plenty of that. Mark Henry and I tackled it pretty good yesterday. I thought we were on the same page with a lot of it. Shout out to Mark Henry Jr., who said yesterday, the line of the show.
I can only imagine what he said yesterday.
He said yesterday, and I love him because he looked at me after he said, he's like, or he could turn into a pumpkin. And of course, he's talking about that one Minnesota Viking quarterback where he said, Dobbs, after tonight, you will be able to say that he's more, I believe he said he's more efficient, runs the Minnesota Viking offense better with Dobbs than Kirk Cousins. I don't think that boat came home. I think we're still out at sea somewhere. 4 interceptions later, as I just said, that carrots turned into a pumpkin.
Yeah, it did.
What an ugly game last night.
It was horrible. But this was, I don't know. This was expected from me from Josh Jacobs. He's a journeyman quarterback for a reason because you can plug him in for a game or two.
What do you mean? It was expected from me too. It was all love and respect to Mark. I thought he'd get a little crazy, as he does from time to time. It's expected for most people that actually said, all right.
You want to buy into the hype. It's fun. It's a great story. He had the greatest nickname, I think, just thrown onto a player of a backup that I've ever heard in Pastronaut. That's incredible. That's one of the greatest nicknames I've ever heard. And then, of course, everybody dropped the P from that. And then we had another nickname for Josh Dobbs.
Houston, we got a problem. Sean Bernard checking in. He said, yeah, offense is more dangerous with Dobbs than Kirk. That's what he said. Now, I love Mark, and this is what happens when you talk for a living. You're going to say things
I've said so many dumb things.
Aren't going to come to fruition. I never got behind that. And then we talked about it from the survivor angle, which out in Circa, they're now down to 72. 31 people had the Minnesota Vikings last night.
Why?
I feel for you. If you had to pick that game, I feel for you because it would have took you just – honestly, you'd have to flip a coin. For you to end up with the Chicago Bears, you had to flip a coin.
Yeah, that
was it.
It's just so funny that I guess the Vikings were a play that was used in Survivor because it felt like a lot of sharps were.
I believe, you know why? Because it was the last game of the week. So you had all the Thanksgiving. Did you see the Thanksgiving Day numbers? Whoa. Did you see the viewership?
I'm assuming massive.
I
Yeah,
mean-
did I see a 4?
Yes.
To start one of them? Okay, yeah.
Like 40,
Yeah.
40 million people watched the 49ers and Seahawks at night. That was the highest game over the Commanders and Cowboys and Detroit.
That's a ton.
What? Dude, how many people are in this country? Could you Google it? How many people are in the country?
There are a lot of people in the country.
110 million?
United States of America. I don't know if I had to type out the whole country.
United States of America.
I could have just put U.S.
I'm going to go
population.
with 117.
No, you're way under.
190?
You're way under.
352.
You're a lot closer.
Okay, Michael.
331.
Michael's checking in. Wow, yeah, I don't know why I had that bad number in my head. How many people are in the world?
That's like 7. Are we up to 8 billion yet?
I'll go with that. I like that number. Round it up. So here's where I stand.
Round it up. You should. It's 7.8 billion. So
Wow.
it's essentially 8 billion.
No, the crazy thing is that
Thanos is right.
Mike says that was a guess. Nice guess, man. Anyways, dude, 40 million people were watching that football game between the Seahawks and the 49ers.
Let me just skip over my Thanos is right thing.
I don't follow
Okay.
along. Yeah, I'm not a movie
How
guy.
are you? It's just a Marvel thing.
I've never never seen it.
Those aren't movies.
Never
Those
saw
are.
it. Never saw it.
Oh my! You didn't see Avengers?
No.
Infinity War Endgame?
No. No interest whatsoever. No. Got nothing for you there.
Are you kidding me?
No.
One of the most gross watched movies and back to back.
Is Wolverine in that?
No, Wolverine is not in that.
I got
What
no
is-
interest. I'm an X-Men guy.
The X-Men movies have been awful lately. I think they're trying to do it again though. I think. I don't know. All I know is you should. How have you not watched Avengers? Either of those. They were the most watched movies
All right. Well, I never did.
of like the past 10 years.
Black Panther,
than-
right? Black Panther?
Black Panther's in it. Yes.
I tried to watch Black Panther, and don't kill me on this. I was out.
Don't
Like,
you dare.
First 20 minutes, I'm like, are you kidding me with this?
What is wrong with you?
I mean,
these Marvel takes,
the-
these Marvel. What
the
is wrong with
drugs
you?
I have to take to get me to believe where I'm at watching this movie, and like I'm in Wakanda. It's like
It's fantastic. It was
I
an
was-
amazing movie. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Hey, I
It's
know,
very good.
I know. I think we've had this discussion.
Black Panther 2 was not good though.
Okay.
I wasn't as big of a
I
fan.
tried to watch Black Panther, Wakanda. Right? Tried to get through it. Couldn't do it.
Oh,
So that's my point. Those movies don't hit me like that. God bless
what
you.
movies do?
Oh,
I thought those would have been right up your alley.
good
It's
movies.
great. Whoa! I didn't know you had such a
Were we just talking about?
refined palette for movies
weren't-
here.
we
I didn't
were-
know
we-
this.
We were just talking about Captain America, right? Is he in that movie, Thanos?
yeah. He's Captain America.
All right. I don't know what Marvel and X-Men is and all that. Like, I don't know. what
He's
the
Captain
difference-
America. Yeah,
So
Captain America and Iron
he-
Man are like the two. Those are the two leads.
I get down with Iron Man. I like Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr.
Well, you get down with Robert Downey
Yeah,
Jr.
He's
Sure.
great. So the thing we were just talking about this, where of Captain America, Chris
Evans.
Evans, thank you, Chris Pine, Chris this,
I
whatever.
don't know what was worse. You talking about movies or hockey?
He close. So he even said, he's like, man, I don't get down with, like that type of movie. Like, it's not acting. It's too big of a picture. I go in and I read 3 lines a day. It's a production. Like, yeah, that's how it comes off
Yes.
to me when I sit down to watch it.
It is, and look, I do like those movies. I understand that is not. It's not art in a way. Martin Scorsese does really put it best, and every time he says it, everybody gets all up in arms.
Yes.
But it's an amusement park. It's literally
Yes.
Disney on the big screen.
You know what
That's
movie
what
I
it
just
is.
watched the other day on Netflix? It was great. And he's in it. Chris Evans, Pain Hustlers. Great movie.
Are you sure?
Really good movie. Go check it out. Honestly.
Let's see what this has on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see if you actually
Well,
have
it hit me because
23% on Rotten Tomatoes.
ouch. I don't know. I thought it was good. I like that. Yeah.
I got to bring back an old game I used to do where they would give us a movie and you would have to guess the Rotten Tomato score, and whoever got the closest one would end up winning that round.
Oh,
We got to do that. It's a great game.
so anyways, back to the Eagles.
Pain Hustlers, awesome movie.
Awesome.
23% on Rotten.
It was good. Check it out. My wife was in that world.
I'll give you this. The
pharmaceuticals.
audience score is 67%.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah, it
not.
hit home. Garcia was good. Chris Pine was
I mean,
really
that's
well.
Emily Blunt.
Chris Pine played it awesome. He was great.
Chris Evans.
Sorry.
Yeah, Chris Pine's different Chris.
Enough of movies. Back to the NFL. Last night, last week, 16 teams didn't get to 20 points. Last night, under. It's like 13-1 to the under on Monday Night Football. It's absurd right now what's happening in the NFL. So I'm watching that game last night, and, one of the things that hits me, it's just a matter of, like, why don't we simplify things? Sometimes 3 yards in a cloud of dust might be better off than what you do or what you have in your arsenal. And last night, that Vikings game was atrocious. The play calling was a disaster. The Chicago Bears, somebody had to win the game, and Justin Fields got him into field goal range because all of a sudden the Minnesota Vikings didn't want to blitz anymore on the final drive, whatever. But my point is, they ran the ball effectively multiple times up the middle, and then all of a sudden would just start to throw Dobbs out there like he's Dan Marino. I don't understand what happened to, hey, put the college game plan to the side. O'Connell thinks he's out there and he's running a run and shoot offense, with Kirk Cousins, and he's got Justin Jefferson. He's got great wide receivers. Yeah, that was great when you had your starting quarterback.
And Kirk Cousins was playing extrememely well this year, too.
Absolutely.
He was playing great.
That's great.
That was kind of the shame of it, is he got hurt at a time where they were starting to win and he was playing very well. So if Kirk Cousins was healthy, they would be competing for that division.
Those running backs can't pick up a blitz. They never do max protection. Rolling the quarterback out. Like, just simplify things. What if you just tried that for one half and said, you know what? Our main goal is to get above 20 points. If we get above 20 points, we're going to win this football game. Whatever we have to do, let's get to 20 points. I'm telling you, you're coming away with a above 500 record if that is your goal in training camp. Now, I'm not talking about it from the standpoint of these Eagles, because that's one of the things that was going through my mind last night was, thank God I'm an Eagles fan. Thank God I could sit home or go to a game and watch my team play football. As bad as things are, and everybody wants to fire every coordinator, every single game out there, all I know is when you look around the league and see the dreck that they're throwing out there, the Jets on Black Friday, the Patriots, come on, man.
And Giants.
Even
though Giants' 2 backup quarterbacks have looked better than their starting quarterback.
Stop it.
They
won with 13 points.
It was against Bill Belichick's
They
defense,
can't even get to 20. Tommy DeVito. I went to high school with a kid by the name of Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito does sound like a Scranton kid.
So anyways, that's my rant to start this show off. What a disaster of a game.
And also, can we just, instead of having to try and pit 2 guys against each other like we did with CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence, can we just admit, damn, those 2 guys are great?
Oh, it's
and
great.
That it's so much better than watching Josh Jobs and Justin Fields right now, or better than, there are good quarterback rivalries that we can highlight and go, these guys are going to battle with each other. And the good thing is, for that division in the AFC South, Anthony Richardson was on his way to being a dude.
How about the Colts?
Colts look good.
Colts are even money to make the playoffs in DraftKings.
Shane Steichen's a heck of a coach.
He is.
He's a very good coach.
Well, I don't know about coach, but I will just say system. He knows what he's doing on offense. Big fan of Shane Steichen on offense.
I wouldn't even say coach. I think he's managed games very well.
I've only watched, honestly, 2 Colts games in depth. They had the one national game in the morning in London. Other than that,
yeah. Obviously, London games are going to do anything.
And game 1 against Jacksonville, I watched. Those are the 2 games I watched. So I can't really sit here and tell you about his timeouts or game management along those lines. But dude knows offense, and we know it from last year. And a lot of the plays that they're running right now, the Eagles, came from Shane Steichen. I was thinking about this as well, watching the game against the Buffalo Bills.
It really is there have been some good wrinkles, so I don't want to say Brian Johnson just took everything that Steichen did. But yeah, they're running similar concepts.
Correct.
But I do love the little wrinkles that Brian Johnson's added. By the way, Eagles offense has been great. So I know we want to get on Brian Johnson for some play calling, and I think he's under a microscope too much. I just think it was happening. It happens a lot every game.
Because Brian Johnson, social media, it's the sewage plant of everything when we sit down to watch these games.
But it also,
people with brains don't call for coaches' heads.
No. People, it's not people with brains. It's just I think it's very easy to just blame offensive coordinator when things don't go right.
Yeah.
And I do it. I think offensive coordinators are to blame. I don't know how many good ones there are. All I know is when we watch a lot of football, Sean. I keep up with a lot of football. I'm checking all these stats. Like, we're really deep into it. And Brian Johnson's one of the better offensive coordinators in the league. Like, when I look around at some other offenses, I've seen some way worse offenses.
He's a lead candidate for a head coaching job next
and
year.
for good reason. Situationally, in some of them, fourth down plays, I get some of them aren't great. Everybody's frustrated with the QB draw. I actually, the implementation of it now seems really good. They seem to be picking their spots very well and using it, and with how teams are playing them now. So it's a high school looking play, but it works.
Yeah.
And it works really well for Jalen. And especially when you have a guard like Cam Jurgens and a center like Jason Kelsey who are pulling on these things, the play really works. So I just look around the rest of the league, and I think the Eagles offense is definitely much better of a structure than I see for the most part around the league.
Yeah, the social media stuff is just nonsense. And
I don't even think that's social media. That's everybody. I think it's just a very easy, I hate to say casual because I don't
every
want
year. And I read somebody.
Oh, it's every year that everybody blames offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Jim Schwartz is the worst ever. That dude was awesome as a defensive coordinator.
He was awesome with the Eagles.
Everybody wanted to fire him every time. And somebody brought this up on social media earlier today. They tweeted it. I forget who it was, but they were like, could you imagine if the script was flipped, where the Eagles started out hot and then gave up the leads in the second half, but were able to pull away? Everybody would be calling for who? Not Brian Johnson, but on the defensive side of the ball, and it's just like, decide. It's just stupid. I try not to get caught up in any of that. And it's what's wild to me is I see some people who I really do value. They're like, good people on good people on Twitter. And it's like, dude, you're calling for the guy to be fired because you don't like one play call. Like, all right, I get it. Julio Jones, tight end screen, get rid of it. But not everything has to result in somebody being fired. That's all.
Yes, and also Brian Johnson's going to have bad drives. Every single offensive coordinator. Andy Reid calls bad drives sometimes.
Fire him.
Andy Reid called a lot of bad drives with the Eagles, and he calls even worse ones with Kansas City.
Well, you don't believe that had something to do with Carolina, with Frank Reich getting fired? It's social media, man. These owners and these general managers and certain other people, they get caught up in it.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, all of a sudden they're believing everything that they're reading, and it's a vocal minority that gets everybody stirred up. And next thing you know, you're firing Frank Reich in a complete rebuild of a year.
When his number one wide receiver is Adam Thielen.
What did you expect this year?
Yeah. I look, if it was any other owner or any other organization that I think could actually see, maybe Reich, it doesn't fit, I think, what Reich likes to do. It doesn't fit with necessarily what Bryce Young needs in an offense. I think he needs a little bit more. It's not really window dressing, just I think he needs things. I don't know how to put it, because what Frank Reich is doing is simply drop back, West Coast, straight drop back type of offense. And that works when you're 6'5" and have a rocket arm, when you're throwing all the way across the other hash for some passes. It's West Coast offense can be good, but you are making high difficulty throws. And I think we see that with some other quarterbacks in the league that are able to make some of those throws, and those offenses work because those guys can do it. But we know Tua can't work in a simply drop back kind of offense. There has to be things that get certain parts of the field open for him because his arm just isn't good enough. And so once that does happen, though, and you give him the kind of reads that work, then his intelligence shows up, then his accuracy shows up, and he starts making decisive throws. So we saw with Tua Tagovailoa, it has to fit a certain way for him to do it. Once it fits, though, he's got the skills to make that work at a pretty high level, and I think he's played at a pretty high level. Maybe he's never going to be at the top. He's never going to be a Patrick Mahomes. He's never going to be a Joe Burrow. Or any of those guys, but still playing a good enough football for them to be in the playoff picture and even number one seed picture. With Bryce Young, they're going to have to do the same thing. I don't know if Frank Reich was giving Bryce Young that. I don't know if his offense was suited for him. But that's a conversation that a normal front office would have. All Dave Tepper did was just start yelling in the locker room or whatever. There were reports apparently that he, cursing, he's just so frustrated that he doesn't, I don't know if he really sees the big picture, or, what what actually is going on. He's just getting frustrated.
Correct.
That his number 1 overall pick quarterback isn't doing well.
Yeah. Well, they're just firing him in less games than Urban Meyer got is just ridiculous. And I don't care how bad of a season it was. They're the last offensive, as far as stats are concerned, they're the last offensive team.
Yeah, I can say this very clearly. Frank Reich was not as much of a disaster as Urban Meyer.
No, not at all. And you got to take that into the offseason. It just made no sense, but who cares? And then Tepper gets out there and does nobody any good.
Tepper's a maniac.
By answering questions. Yeah, that was ridiculous. But I will say this, all that aside, Frank Reich making really good coin. He's getting $30+ million. I don't know what he got from the Colts to go away. So he's made himself a lot of money. Is he going to have to look in the mirror and say, damn, I got disrespected? I'm sure. But guess what? That mirror will be in Aruba. Will be on some island somewhere. And I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. All right. Have a nice Mai Tai in your hand and you'll be okay. These owners are absolutely maniacs and they want it here and they want it now. I don't know. Like I look at what Frank Reich did. I'm not going to feel bad for him one bit. He got his money. He's moving on. I also want to know, I will say this, and I'm sure that we're all in agreement here. There's only a few of those jobs available. And was it 32 NFL teams, correct?
Yes.
32. Yeah. So that line will be long. Greg Olson's like, yo, I'm in. Yeah, of course. Of course you are. All right, let's take a quick time out.
Can we stop that?
Well, he didn't do anything. It's just people reporting it.
Okay. Well, Greg Olson shouldn't even think that. Why would he feel entitled enough to even think that?
Because David Tepper's a maniac, so maybe he
also,
would hire him. He's a Carolina legend. Yeah. Greg Olson.
But if you actually like that organization,
top 3 Carolina Panthers of all time, go.
Julius Peppers. I don't know. I'm just going for Carolina's not that.
Come on.
It's not that long of a history.
All right, we'll give it to
Julius Peppers, Steve Smith, and Luke Kuechly.
Wow, good call by you. Nice.
I think that's a pretty good top 3.
Yeah,
that was off the top of the head. I think that's pretty good.
I would have went Steve Berline, but that was just me. Other side, we're talking Eagles and Niners and Week 13. Don't go anywhere. Jeff Parles live from Vegas at 4:35. Back at this.
Thousands of stores across the country are pulling brand name cold and allergy products off the shelves. Why? Because an FDA advisory panel recently determined that a drug they contain, oral phenylephrine, is ineffective as a nasal decongestant. Navage offers a drug-free solution that's fast and highly effective at relieving nasal congestion caused by colds and allergies. Navage uses suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril to help suck out allergens, mucus, and germs. Nasal irrigation works, and Navage makes it quick and easy, but more than anything, it helps you breathe better. Don't waste your time or money on products that are ineffective. Trust drug-free Navage for fast relief to help you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier. Ask for Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or find us online at Navage.com. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics right now and make 2024 the year you are back to living normal life again. QC Kinetics can give you your life back. They're the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. These are all natural treatments that can repair and restore that damaged tissue, giving you pain-free movement again. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients around the country. People who had knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, who are able to get lasting relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. If you have pain from an old injury or pain associated with arthritis, you need to check this out. The future of medicine is here. Regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. Make the call now so you can get the most out of 2024. Get back to doing what you love. And don't forget, you can use your HSA and FSA funds. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Call 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000.
You don't want to miss 60% off everything during the once-a-year Black Friday event, only at your nearest Banana Republic factory store. Bring home must-have styles and gifting favorites with limited time deals from just $15.
Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Boost Infinite's new wireless technology switches between networks, giving you the best service at a lower price. Switch today. Call 855-55-BOOST, visit boostinfinite.com, or go to amazon.com and search for Boost iPhone 15.
This is Katina Mobley. This is what's trending from iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports.
The Flyers will host Carolina tonight with second place in the Metro Division up for grabs. Third place Philly trails the Hurricanes by just a point. Eagles coach Nick Sirianni says he hasn't thought about adding Mentor and ex-Panthers coach Frank Reich to his staff for the season stretch run. And whichever team wins next month's Pop-Tarts Bowl this year will get to eat the mascot as part of the Toaster Treats sponsorship of the game. I'm Scott Davidson.
Check out what DraftKings has to offer with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. We've got traffic slowing down on 422 eastbound, approaching Limerick, where we've got an accident. A westbound watch for delays between the Schuylkill and 23. The Schuylkill westbound, heavy University to Vine, then bumper to bumper, Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound, so Blue Route to Belmont and Montgomery Drive to South. Divine Expressway tied up both ways. Schuylkill to Broad. 95 northbound, Jan Allegheny up to Bridge. And southbound, so Ridley Park to 320. Blue Route northbound, heavy 95 Pacific Dayton. Southbound approaching Broomall to Media Swarthmore. All right, Totella, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast, even if your symptoms feel mild. Ask your doctor if a prescription oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com, sponsored by Pfizer.
Taste the joy at Randall's Restaurant in Cherry Hill, New Jersey this holiday season. Give the gift of an exceptional dining experience with our delicious food and elegant ambiance. From November 24th through December 31st, purchase a $100 gift card and receive a $20 gift card. Or purchase a $200 gift card and receive a $50 gift card. Don't wait. Book your table now at randallslegacy.com. That's randallslegacy.com. Randall's Restaurant, Cherry Hill's newest dining sensation.
When something happens to your kitchen and you say,
"This is ludicrous,"
you get
having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm.
That's right. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois. Some intimate parts need the gentle, easy trim of a Gillette trimmer. And some need the closeness and comfort of a Gillette Intimate razor. While others need a Gillette anti-chafe stick. Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get, down there. Buy now.
Dell's Cyber Monday event is their biggest sale of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
My life coach has a terrible life.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
My passport is in the pocket of the duffel bag I took to Mexico.
It's the Black Friday sale at Mattress Firm. Get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $700 on Sealy. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select mattresses. And if you see a better price, we'll match it. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your home for Villanova basketball is WDAS and WD273D, Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia.
Week 13 gets started on Thursday night. Be sure to join us, our third and final Miller Lite watch party going down at Maggie's on the waterfront. We'll be live from 8.
Does it have to be the final one?
No, it doesn't.
Can we do another one?
Yeah. Well, they pay. We're there.
These are fun.
Yeah, they're great.
I always wear the Miller Lite gear out too because I'm a company man, Brace.
Damn right.
And I always get great compliments on the gear, especially the hat.
Well, Miller Lite stepped it up this year.
They stepped it up
with the
big time
with the Kelly Green stuff. So we'll have some of that gear to give away, and we'll be giving away a pair of tickets with a bus ride all the way up to New York, courtesy of our friends over at Miller Lite. And it's the Eagles and Giants game, away game. So if you want to get on out there to that game, awesome bus trip, everything included, really cool stuff. We'll be going down tonight. Or Thursday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Thursday night. Maggie's.
How many places you got me going tonight? Jeez.
On the waterfront. No, we're only going to the Wells Fargo Center for the Fly Guys and the Carolina Hurricanes. All right, let's talk about Week 13, and we'll open things up with that Seahawks and Cowboys game, holding steady 8.5. I saw it at 9 a little earlier this morning, 46.5. A lot of love for Dak these days, a lot of love for the Cowboys. But the Seahawks, I thought that they were supposed to be good this year. Is this a spot that they can go down to Dallas and hang, especially in the midweek? Or are you leaning towards the Cowboys just keeping it going, foot on the gas, and a little bit more of what we've seen?
Just at home. I mean, all this stuff is real with Dallas. I think, look, it's fair to say wait until they beat a better team, a team over 500, or a team with better record, an actual contender, all those things. But I mean, we were there, Bryce. They played well against the Eagles. They played well on the road against they lost it, of course. I get that. But they're playing very well in most of these games. The only one that was really bad was San Francisco. It was on the road against that buzzsaw of a defense. We're going to see how great that defense really is this weekend with San Francisco, and I imagine they're going to look pretty good. Dallas is legit. And so all the numbers for Dak are real. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year, playing like it. His numbers look like the best. That does have something to do with all the defenses he's playing, but it's not like Seattle's defense is that much better than most of the defenses they've played. They're okay, but this is a defense you can throw on. They should be able to throw on Seattle, and Dallas at home is just a juggernaut. So the 9 doesn't surprise me. If you want to stay away from the 9, I get it, but 9 does not surprise me whatsoever.
Would you use this as a survivor pool play if you had Dallas?
I actually would.
Okay.
I actually would. It depends, obviously, on what some of the other games you're looking at are. That would be, because the Chargers would be another one. I wouldn't do Chargers in Survivor. Pittsburgh, I wouldn't do Pittsburgh. Maybe I wouldn't even trust Dolphins against Commanders. I don't know about you on that one.
You wouldn't trust the Dolphins at the Commanders?
Commanders just are weird. I don't like it. I don't like it.
That the team that lost 45-10 on Thursday night?
Yeah, but against Dallas, the spot that Seattle's in right now.
Let's simplify it.
Washington did. I mean, yes.
Let's simplify it.
Okay.
Miami doesn't have to do anything. Just run the football and they can beat them. The Commanders are dead.
Yeah, but I also said that about the Raiders, and they almost lost to the Raiders.
Who?
Miami.
Raiders were playing a little bit more fight. They got a new coach. You got the new quarterback in there.
Things aren't looking as smooth. Miami had a good game against the Jets. I get it. And
Yes.
even then, it didn't look that great. I didn't think.
They have to run the football. That's all they have to do. Hand the ball off to Mostert. Dude is just scoring touchdowns left and right.
Yes, 13. Jeez.
Yeah, there's no way I would even think twice about backing the Commanders. Anything.
I have a tough time.
You could tease it up.
And Miami
+6.
too is 3-3 on the road. It's just when they get in uncomfortable spots. I don't know if this is an uncomfortable one. It's not like Washington's a tough place to play or Washington's a good team. I don't know. They don't put teams away as much as I would like them to sometimes.
All right, let's get to the big topic. And of course, that's the Philadelphia Eagles and the 49ers. It is the game of the week. And I want to know why, from all these sports gambling, for the sports gambling crowd out there, and of course the personalities and everybody that thinks they know everything.
Every sharp is going to be on San Francisco.
Of course.
Every single one of them.
Well, why are the Eagles catching 3? Let's start there.
Oh, that's easy for me because I mean, sportsbooks look at numbers, and the Eagles' numbers. I mean, the sportsbooks look at all that stuff now. You know, they have their own power rankings, and they do it based off of numbers. I mean, it's numbers based kind of venture when we're in here, and the 49ers numbers look better. They probably have a better DVOA in most categories. They probably have better EPA in most categories. They've been absolutely dominating teams. The Eagles aren't the best against the spread, and you know, they're doing it to entice bets both ways. And I think this is the way to entice it. But yeah, it did not surprise me. Maybe if it gets higher, I don't know what it's at now. If it's at 2.5,
holding steady at 3.
3 surprises me a little bit, but I get it. I don't know. That doesn't bother me as much as it is because spreads aren't supposed to be, they're not disrespecting. It's how they make money. That's what the spread is doing. The spread is making sure they don't lose money, or at least lots of it.
Yeah, but wouldn't you factor into
if the Eagles were a favorite of 3, everybody and their mother, except for the people here in this city, are going to bet San Francisco.
No, and I don't disagree with that. And for the most part, I understand why they are. Now, I was kind of surprised, and I thought it would have been a little bit more of a respectful line for the Eagles at home. But let's remember where the 49ers are. They're coming off of the bye, so they're rested. That's number one.
The Eagles are coming off of 2 rough games, Kansas City and Buffalo. And
in that Buffalo game, they had 90-plus snaps on defense.
I would imagine if you were to talk to the handicappers of these sports books, they would say the Eagles probably should have lost both of those games. I guarantee you that'd be part of it.
Well, the question I have right now is, what's the latest with Fletcher Cox? What's the latest with
that too? That's a good point. Injuries.
The injuries are a huge deal for me. Jordan Davis, what's going on there at the linebacker position? We haven't got any updates, and I don't expect anything until a little bit later this week, maybe tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when everyone really starts to talk a little bit more.
Yeah, and they won't even know. Shaq Leonard's kind of going through the whole free agent thing right now, process, because he was in Dallas today. Left there without a contract, but now the next one is the Eagles. It's going to take some time for that to happen. And obviously, I don't think he's a plug and play. I don't think he's just you get him and put him in right away.
Well, I just did my hit this morning with Seth Joyner, big time Eagles fan, Seth Joyner, and
look at you.
They said I will be on your TVs starting tomorrow night.
Hopefully, you stuck with the totals. What was the spread bet you gave last time that just wasn't good? But your totals were great.
When? On the show?
Yeah.
I think I was 500 on the show.
No, you did well because you've been crushing totals.
Well,
and did you give him any anytime touchdown bets? Because that's your best bet.
No, did not. We went fantasy and you go 4.
I should have asked you last week, Sunday.
You go 4 plays that you like, 4 players that you're going to fade, and you go 4 games that you want to go down.
Oh, 4 games you're going to fade. Okay.
4 players.
Oh, players.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll just say this. I said that I am fading the Eagles defense. I want nothing to do with the Eagles defense. Now, I don't think many people are out there were saying.
Can I fade the game?
Oh,
I'm going to fade the game.
Fully recommend everybody don't wager on this game.
No, because the sharps are all going to be on San Francisco. I think San Francisco was the play. I also thought Kansas City was the play. I also thought Buffalo was the play. And guess what, Sean? They probably were. But the thing is about the Eagles is they keep winning these games over and over again. And I think Buffalo, if you had the right number, it either pushed or you won it. So it's not like if you bet it against the spread, it's anything bad. But still, the Eagles are winning these games.
Yes.
And with now San Francisco coming in as a 3-point favorite,
and
you have to take that into account, though, that even though the Eagles are getting outplayed, they're winning, and all they've done is won.
Yep.
Since last year, all they've done is won. They're 10-1 this season. That is hard for me to bet. I know my conventional betting wisdom, or at least my betting compass, is pointing me towards San Francisco. That does not mean it's a good bet. I think this is a total stay away. I get, I think I've heard some guys on VSiN that we listen to that are very good. Some of the sharps I see on Twitter.
Everybody's on the
49ers.
Yeah.
And guess what? I totally understand. I just don't think it's that easy of a play. With the Eagles especially, I just don't think it's that easy.
I think there's 10 other games that I'd rather have money on. And look, I could see the Eagles winning this game, and I could see the 49ers winning this game. The one thing that I do believe is how it's going to play out is that the Eagles are going to have to throw the football a ton. I just don't see them having the effective ground game against this 49ers defensive front. I just don't. Warner at the linebacker position.
Battle. But also, you have Lane Johnson coming back from an injury. And Johnson,
you hope.
And so I think last I saw that he is going to.
It's a groin.
Yeah, I know. And it's always crazy to hear. And reporters do a great job, but I think it was Olivia Reiner just explaining the injury, and it just seems so casual. But it was like he popped something in the scar tissue from his previous groin injury. That sounds horrible. It's so casual in the NFL, though, that, oh, yeah, that's just something that happens. He's going to play next week. He'll be fine. But even if he plays, though, you have really two great defensive ends and a great defensive line. And I know the Eagles' interior offensive line I feel great about, but Mailata can be beat. Mailata's been great this year, but we know, I think, against some better pass rushers, he can be beat. And who knows how effective Lane's going to be off of a really gruesome injury. Not gruesome, but one that's he is coming back from last year, and this is another re-aggravation of almost that same injury. And here comes another great offensive or defensive line. It's really tough. That's going to be a battle.
I said fade the Eagles defense. I said fade the Eagles defense and DeAndre Swift. Those are my two. And again, I'm not sitting here telling you that the 49ers are going to win this football game. I just want to make that clear. I'm
not saying that either.
I hope Dallas Goedert comes back, because if that happens, then A.J. Brown is going to be open a little bit more, because you're going to have to pay attention to Dallas Goedert. He's going to be effective, hopefully. They have the weapons.
Well, you're not throwing to Julio Jones anymore.
No, enough of that, please. I think this offensive line is good enough to keep Jalen Hurts up. We know how committed Jalen Hurts is to making the plays.
But Kansas City was a great test. Kansas City's defensive line was really good, and they got after Jalen in that game. I even think Buffalo, it wasn't as good. I think early on
that's what killed Buffalo, is they couldn't get after
Jalen.
Because
they won in the beginning. The first snap of the game, really, they won. Because it was mostly Jack Driscoll just kind of settling in after, figuring out he was starting, an hour or two before the game.
Yep.
So I think it was just Driscoll sitting in. But once he did, Buffalo's defensive line didn't do anything. But Buffalo's defensive line isn't San Francisco. San Francisco's is better than even Kansas City's, and Kansas City has a great defensive line. It is a test. It is a big, big, big test. They got beat a lot in the first half against Kansas City. If you do that against San Francisco, it's probably not going to stop there. It's probably going to be all game if it starts leaking on the offensive line.
Well, I love the bulletin board material, and it seems like it's coming from one direction. And Debo and everybody over there, they got a lot to say. So, hey, come on over here across the country. Again, it stinks that they're a week off. And again, you just go back to what just took place on Sunday, 90-plus snaps on the defense side of the ball with all these injuries. It's going to be really, really, really tough for the Eagles to win this football game, but it's a home game, and you got one. You got one, as Brandon Graham would say. Put the ball in one's hands and see what he can do. The dude is unbelievable right now. All right.
He is. Yes, he's unbelievable and incredible talent, and I think they're winning games because of his talent, and I think the talent overall in the Eagles roster. But in this kind of game, he absolutely needs to play better, though. Like, I think they do need more from Jalen.
Second half has to be more than just a second half. It's got to be 4 quarters.
Right.
It can't be as bad as it was.
You can't be missing, he was missing things against Buffalo. He didn't really have a great
that
but
drop.
That's how good it
dropping the ball. And was it Gainwell? What was that?
That was bad. Oof. And it's so good. That's how good Jalen Hurts is I don't think he had a good game against Buffalo. And he had 5 touchdowns, and he has the game-winning drive and the game-tying field goal.
He had a great second half.
All
of those
things.
First half.
Yeah, it's
great
just
second half.
It's just crazy how talented he is. That even in something I would consider a game that I didn't think he was that good in, to do that 5 touchdowns and again clutch drives and game-winning drives, all of that.
No matter what, this team will never be out of it, and even if they are down, they can come back. It's going to come up to the pass rush, Hassan Reddick and Brandon Graham and those guys and Sweat. They're going to have to bring it. And Jalen Carter up the middle, we're going to need a big performance from him. Linebacker's a little suspect. Of course, Kittle's a pretty good tight end. I'm sure he can make some plays if his number's called upon. But if they're not able to get after Purdy or slow that run game down somewhat, 49ers could get up big, and then who knows what we're looking at. But I do expect a big game from A.J. Brown.
It is not great to have a linebacker down and thin at the linebacker position when Christian McCaffrey is coming in.
Correct. Is he the best running back in the game? I think
he's the best. Yeah, by far.
Yep. All right, Jeff Parles live from Vegas. On the other side, we'll find out what his thoughts are from the national perspective and all things Eagles and Niners.
Yeah, when I talked to him about this, he said he has thoughts on the Eagles. And he said good thoughts on the Eagles.
We'll also get his thoughts on the Thursday night football game between the Seahawks and Cowboys and all of the other games that are going off on week 13.
I need more Buffalo takes out of Parles, too.
Oh, by the way, college football. Yeah, he might have to back up with some of that Buffalo Bills talk because Josh Allen is the real deal. We also have to talk to him about college football. We got to find out his thoughts on Championship Saturday and Friday. A lot of scenarios are going to be figured out this weekend. So
are they going to be figured out?
We'll see. Starts on Friday.
It might make it worse. We might have a muddier picture at the top.
Starts on Friday. I'm starting to talk myself into Oregon.
Oregon to get into the playoff?
Well, if Oregon beat whoever wins that game is getting it.
I think so too. Right. I think I can confidently say
Washington would be undefeated.
Washington would be undefeated, definitely. But that it's more of right. If Oregon wins, will they be in? I do think it is just whoever wins the Pac-12 is getting in.
I agree with that as well. We'll find out if Jeff Parles. He's going to join us on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Jeff Parles live from Vegas. Back after this.
The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Couple problems on 422. We've got a crash that has traffic jammed up eastbound between Saratoga and Limerick, and westbound jammed up between the Schuylkill and 23 with a crash in the left lane. Eastbound Schuylkill slow traffic, Blue Route to Belmont and Montgomery Drive to South. Westbound heavy University to Vine and bumper to bumper Boulevard to Belmont. The Vine Expressway tied up both ways. Schuylkill to Broad, 95 northbound Jan Allegheny up to Bridge. Blue Route northbound heavy 95 past McDade, southbound delays Broomall to Media Swarthmore. All right, Tratella, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast, even if your symptoms feel mild. Ask your doctor if a prescription oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com, sponsored by Pfizer.
You don't want to miss 60% off everything during the once-a-year Black Friday event, only at your nearest Banana Republic factory store. Bring home must-have styles and gifting favorites with limited-time deals from just $15.
I woke up feeling sick with cold and flu symptoms the other day, and I thought I might miss my son's soccer game. It's a big game, and I knew how important it was to him for me to go. So I took Mucinex Fast Max Kickstart Severe Cold and Flu, and now I'm feeling much better and can go to his game.
New Mucinex Kickstart gives all-in-one and done relief with a morning jolt of instant cooling sensation. Come back with a kick with new Mucinex Kickstart. Use as directed.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there, and around there, and even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing to keep the Grinch away from the toy drive.
Who's going to deliver the toys to the kids?
What about me, the Grinch?
No. Yep, even easier than that.
You steal the presents one time.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One NA, member FDIC. Copyright Dr. Seuss Enterprises. Copyright Turner Entertainment Company.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted Tax Resolution Company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Oh, I love this restaurant. Glad we got a table quickly.
What does that sign say?
Caution, wet floor?
No, right next to it.
If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60. Huh, I didn't know that.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com. Doesn't this song just remind you how it starts of like a race car?
Does it?
Yeah, it's a great tune.
It's a good tune.
I don't know. The reason why I played it is because I wanted to catch up with our next guest on all things F1 in Las Vegas. Let's head out to Vegas, and we're joined by Jeff Parles, who joins us every single Tuesday right here on the Daily Ticket. And as always, you can find Jeff on socials at Jeff Parles, and he is representing the fine folks over at the South Point Studio, home of Sports by the Book. Make sure you give Jeff a follow on socials, and while you're there as well, check him out, what he's got going on, YouTube channel, all that. Sopo Studio LV. The boys and girls over there are doing tremendous work and created it new, fresh for the people out there. Jeff, great to have you as always. Take us. F1, how was it? Just the race itself, because I can tell you on television, it was pretty damn cool to see Vegas lit up like that. You've been part of it. You've been there. The race itself, though, just tell us your thoughts from a Vegas perspective.
Well, after the disaster earlier in the week with the manhole cover destroying, almost destroying Cheyenne's car, it honestly went off as well as I think anyone could have hoped. The event looked great on television. It obviously, the strip was lit up. The Sphere is an incredible looking building. But look, I think from everyone's perspective locally, still, it probably didn't bring enough for people to be happy with it here in Vegas. But tough for us because it could be here for 10 whole years. And you just got to hope, at least from our perspective locally, and I know in Philly you guys don't care, but at least from my perspective, like, just don't mess up the traffic as badly as it did like in year two. Like, if it's anywhere near as bad, there might be an actual revolt from some of the locals here in town. But look, all in all, exciting race. There are actually passes in it, which doesn't really happen very often in Formula One. So pretty exciting all the way around. I think they couldn't have asked for a better showcase than what they got on that 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get an opportunity to speak to you last week, so that's why I wanted to catch up with you on that. Now, we know what it took to set up. How about breaking it down? Are things still up? Are they still tearing things down, or were they able?
They're going to be tearing. They're going to be tearing stuff for a while.
Yeah,
tearing stuff
it's
for
crazy.
a while.
It is crazy what they were able to
nuts.
build. It blew me away. I love Vegas. I know the Strip very well. Been there a few times, so I'm like familiar.
All
And
that
just-
work to build it, just to
Oh my
tear it all
goodness.
down right away.
Like the stands. That
Is there
they were
anything they're going to keep up?
The only mistake that I made, guys, is I definitely should have driven down there while everything was up, and then just was like, oh, I'm a Formula One racer in my great Hyundai Sonata. I mean, that would have been a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, not quite the same.
No, definitely not.
I don't think so.
Definitely not. That's the one thing about those cars. I've only been to a NASCAR race, but I think the F1 is right up there with it. It's just the sound. It's amazing. Just the the power that those engines carry, and F1 is even on a whole nother stratosphere. But 50 laps, I was like, all that for 50 laps though? That was interesting to me. I don't know. I didn't know. I'm not an F1 guy, so 50 laps. I just was like, wow, that seems a little light. NASCAR, they're going for 200, 50 laps though. All right, whatever. Hey, look, as long as people made money, you're right. That's what it comes down to. Were they able to get money, like the monetizing all that? Then of course it's going to be back. But if not, then maybe it might be just two and done. But we'll see. I thought it.
I doubt it's 2 and done. It'd probably be 5. I would guess if anything, it's done after 5. Like you're just going to be here for a while, and quite frankly, there's no problem with it being here for a while. So look, we'll just see how it all plays out over the next few years.
Well, next one up for you guys, is the Pac-12 championship this Friday night. So we got that. And then, of course, the Super Bowl fast approaching as well. Let's get on over to the gridiron. Let's open up with the NFL first. And I want to get your thoughts on a game, and then we'll go to the award season and see where you stand as far as MVP is concerned. But right here, right now, the 49ers are giving 3 points to the Philadelphia Eagles. This game is being played at Lincoln Financial Field Sunday. The lights will be shining bright. This is your number one call with Olsen and Burkhardt on the call for Fox. And, some people are wondering why the Eagles are 3-point underdogs. Others like myself and John are we understand it. I don't know, though. Like when it comes to wagering on this game, I could talk myself into both ways. I honestly, Jeff, I'll tell you straight up, I'll find other games on the card to wager on to put my money on. But if I made you, Jeff Parles, to make a selection on this game, where are you going?
It's funny the disrespect that the Eagles have gotten from some who want to claim they're smart people is really flabbergasting here. I mean, I even saw a few people comparing them to last year's Minnesota Vikings, which is just beyond insulting to this year's Eagle group, which by any real metric is still a top 10 team. Are they as good as the one loss that they have? No, they probably aren't. They probably should have an extra 2 or 3 losses. But you know what? When you're a really good team that is really well coached, that has a really good quarterback, that has a top-notch offensive line, and have a pretty good defense, you're going to win a bunch of games you're not supposed to. That's just the way that it goes in the National Football League when you're one of the better teams. I think this line is insane. Personally, I think this should be a pick. I think this is a coin flip. I think San Francisco is probably a better team when at full strength like they are right now, but the Eagles have home field advantage. And look, I know the Niner fans were complaining all offseason long about, Brock Purdy's elbow explode, all that. Look, I mean, if Brock Purdy was healthy, do you think the Niners are winning that game? I don't think so. I really don't. So we're in the whole scenario here where everyone's healthy. There's no excuses on either side. Yes, for the Eagles' perspective, you like to get Lane Johnson back for the game on Sunday, and I think he will play based off of everything I've read through these first 2 days post that him sitting out on Sunday against the Bills. At 3, it's an auto take with the Eagles. And if the Niners beat me, so be it. That's kind of the way that I look at it. These are teams 1 and 2 for me in the NFL. I think they're the 2 best teams. And I think the Eagles find a way yet again, get it done on Sunday, win this thing outright, and cover the 3.
Woo! That's our first Eagles wager right there,
Nice.
John Jansen.
Okay.
That's the first one I've heard. Everybody else is all
I know that's the
ninered
first
up.
one I've heard too. Yes, it's been a lot of fun.
All ninered up. Jeff Parles from Vegas says, hold up. The disrespect, I'm right there with them on that too.
Yeah, how hard is
But
it?
Jeff, the one thing I will say, just to cut you off, John, is that the injuries are definitely a factor. Fletcher Cox's not going to be there.
Dallas Goedert potentially,
Dallas
he might
Goedert.
be back.
We need to find out what's going on with Lane Johnson, but I'm right there with you. If the expectation is he'll play. We're talking about a defense that just went up 90 plays on Sunday. I don't know what's going to happen at practice this week, how aggressive they can do or what they can do, put pads on it. Like it might be a bunch of walkthroughs this week for everybody on the defense side of the ball for the Eagles. And you got the 49ers who are rested. So that's a recipe for success for the 49ers, correct?
I mean, look, again, you can make the argument the Niners are a much better team, Sean. I mean, that argument is valid. The Niners, the 3 losses the Niners have had, One of them was without McCaffrey. McCaffrey barely played in that Cleveland game. Samuel didn't play much in that game either. Didn't play in the other two losses. And Purdy was concussed in the Minnesota game. So they were not healthy. Trent Williams didn't play in any of those games either. And there is a scenario. And look, this is just how I am in comparison to others. Like I think the Eagles are, to me, if you're going off straight power ratings, the Niners at full strength are the best team in the NFL, but the Eagles are the second best team in the NFL. And the Eagles have the game at home. So home field, I think, does mean something in this spot where you're taking a team that, yes, the weather isn't the greatest in the Bay Area, but it's a hell of a lot better than it's going to be on Sunday in Philly in December. So you're in a scenario here where, again, I think this should be a pick in Philly. I think it should be a pick. I don't think the Eagles should be getting points. And if the Niners beat me, so be it. I mean, we bet so many games this year. Like, all right, what's this different from any other game that I bet? If I lose, all right, let's move to the next one, guys. That's all it is.
Yes, I do. This is such a fascinating spot because the Eagles, I think I think a lot of bettors would say they probably should have lost the last two games just because they got, outgained against Buffalo and bad spots, and yet they continue to win. And here comes a 49ers team that has all of these great metrics, and I'm sure, like you just said, power rated very high. And I think it's going to be an overcompensation of, okay, well, the Eagles definitely have to this time. How difficult has it been truly for you to bet the Eagles or to kind of figure out the spots? Because there are, a lot of sharps and some betting wisdom that would tell you to go the other way in these games, yet the Eagles just continue to keep winning them.
I mean, I just treat the Eagles as I've treated them now for the better portion of a year and a half. They're one of the three, at worst, one of the three best teams in the NFL. And when you're dealing with one of the three best teams in the NFL, I mean, this is kind of the thing why it was so hard when the Eagles went to Kansas City for me to bet the Eagles, because you're getting Mahomes less than a field goal in that game. You never get Mahomes less than a field goal at home. So it was hard for me to bet the Eagles, but I thought the Eagles were better, and I know that game played out, and I thought Kansas City should have won that game the way it played out. Kelsey fumbled in the red zone, and MVS dropped what should have been a walk-in touchdown at the end of the game, as we know. I actually think when it's all said and done, I thought the Eagles were more fortunate to win the Kansas City game than they were to win the game on Sunday against Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. Because
when you're Buffalo, you needed to be up 20 points in the third quarter of that game. You need to be up 20 with how they dominated that first half. And they let the Eagles hang in the game. You can't let a really good team hang around. And honestly, the Buffalo Bills under Sean McDermott have made a living off of letting teams hang around. And you know what? They paid the price. They lost the game. Should they have lost the game? Probably not, because Gabe Davis was wide open in the end zone and ran the wrong route. But I think in the end, again, really good teams find ways to win, and that's what the Eagles are doing right now. Unlike last year with Minnesota, where all their metrics stunk, and they just had a lucky horseshoe in their back pocket the whole year.
Tell you what, people must be listening, because that number is now down to 2.5 on DraftKings
Whoa,
Sportsbook.
Here it goes.
2.5 on the Birds. Where do you think that goes to kickoff? At kickoff, where do you think?
Sean, I think it ends at 2.5.
Okay.
I think we get some toggling between 2.5 and 3. I don't see us going back to 2 unless if the public just overwhelms everything. But I think that closes Niners 2.5. That would be my guess.
Excellent stuff. We got Jeff Parles live from Las Vegas. Here's weekly Tuesday spot. Always great to kick things around with Jeff. I know what he's thinking here. Let's stay with it. Some games. I'm going to stay with this, and then we'll get on over to the MVP discussion. Thursday night football, Cowboys and Seahawks. Dallas 8.5, 46.5. We're hosting a watch party. We're going to be placing some wagers. I think this game might have a little bit more attention, of course, featuring the Dallas Cowboys. Seahawks aren't all that bad as well. So maybe one of the more interesting Thursday night football games. Definitely the most interesting game we've been a part of this year.
I think so.
Anything for you on this one, Jeff?
Nothing, but I think the Seahawks are about to collapse. Geno Smith's not healthy. That defense is not as good as it's shown through the year. And they're big underdogs in this game. They're going to be big underdogs next week against the Niners. They're going to be home underdogs against the Eagles. Assuming they lose all three of those, they're going to be 6-8. with no tiebreakers on the Rams, who very well may end up tied with them. If you could find a good price on Seattle to miss the playoffs, I would do it before this game on Thursday, because it just seems like a 5-game losing streak in the making for the Seahawks if you date back to that Ram game that they lost a few weeks ago. So nothing for me in this game. I think the numbers are right. Dallas has been great at home, but you have to question who they've beaten so far this year. They still haven't really beaten anyone who's any good, but they look the part. They look the part of the record. I don't think that's I don't think it's a fraudulent record they have. I think they are that good. They very easily could have flipped that Eagle game earlier in the year, as we know. So I think at this point, the Niners, the Cowboys, and the Eagles, if it's not one of those three teams making it to here in Vegas for the Super Bowl, something has really gotten weird in the NFC.
Yeah, a game that interests me a lot, 1:00 Texans Broncos, because Broncos are all of a sudden on this run.
5 games.
And everybody's thinking Russ is back. But then you see some of the analysts and everybody going, I don't know about the Broncos yet. Hold on. We'll see. Got to see more, though. It's not looking that much better. I mean, to me, this looks like maybe a good spot to go back on Houston after a tough division game on the at home, but still tough division game. You lose, but here comes a Broncos team that certainly still seems beatable, even though on a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah, I crossed this one off immediately, John, for one reason, or actually for 2 reasons, one on each side. I don't think the Texans are as good as people think they are because C.J. Stroud look, C.J. Stroud's been great. He's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think these last few games, they were fortunate in the Arizona game. The Cardinals just couldn't take advantage of the turnovers. He took a really bad sack that forced Amendola to kick a kick he was not capable of making at the end of the game on Sunday. There was some really awful officiating in that game also, by the way, but whatever. Regardless, there's awful officiating in every game at this point. But as great as Stroud has been, I don't think he's quite been as good as everyone in the public thinks. And then on the Russell Wilson side, Russell Wilson has definitely not been as good as everyone has think he's been so far. Just look at the way they've won games. They've won the games because the defense has started to step up. If that defense didn't regress back to a normal mean and honestly regress past it in a positive way with how good they've been since really the game against the Jets when the Jets put 31 on them, which might take the Jets 6 games the rest of the year to score 31 points. But you're in a scenario here where I think both of these teams are overvalued. So that's a really hard game for me to pick when I think both teams are overvalued. So I stayed off of it. I guess Houston probably wins the game because they're at home, but who knows? This Bronco team has been defying a whole bunch of logic the last few weeks.
Yeah, that's a game that I definitely circled. I won't lie. Definitely took the Texans. That that number is on the move. We'll see. It's a show me game for Russ and that Denver Broncos team. I think they've definitely gotten extremely lucky in some spots. A lot of those games were at home. We'll see what they can do on the road against the Texans. Now, let's get over to the awards. Let's talk about the award tour. Let's talk about the MVP, DraftKings Sportsbook. The front runner, Jalen Hurts plus 130, Mahomes plus 350, Lamar 4-1, Dak Prescott plus 750, Tua 9-1, and then we'll throw Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey. We've had some movement there in the last couple of days. Brock Purdy 14-1, McCaffrey 16-1. We'll stop there. I said that, now look, I think we've all been in agreement that the names at the top were definitely guys that were going to be there at the end. They've been there from week 1. Jalen, Mahomes, Lamar, Dak, whatever, Tua. I thought after Buffalo, that game against Buffalo, Jalen is now, I think we said yesterday in the show that he's driving the car. He got in the car. He's now, he fired it up. He's in second gear. He's got a yellow light. He just went through it, but he's driving the MVP card right here now. Where do you stand as far as this award is concerned? And would you fire on Lamar, on Jalen Hurts at plus 130 at this current number?
I absolutely would not. I don't think he should be the favorite right now, and I'm not sure who should be the favorite right now. That's kind of what this MVP race has been. It's been a jumbled mess. Guys, if we were doing this right, Tyreek Hill would win the award. If we were doing this right, where you take Tyreek Hill off the field for the Dolphins, and that offense, I think, looks pretty average. And that's not to say I don't think Tua's good and the other guys on that offense are good, which they are. Waddle's a really nice player. HN, when he's been able to play, is explosive. I like Mostert. They have a good line. They obviously have a great coach. But Tyreek Hill, you take him off that offense, they go from arguably the best offense in the NFL to probably the 11th, 12th, 13th best offense, which even in a year where Buffalo is treading water around 500, that might not be good enough to get Miami the division in the AFC East. So to me, I don't even think it's close, personally. I think Tyreek Hill is clearly the MVP of the league right now.
But he's not winning.
No, I don't think he's winning because I think the voters are too dense to vote for a non-quarterback.
Well, look, in the preseason, that's something that we argued about, John and I.
Yes,
I remember
we did,
the offensive. What was it? So it's the offensive player of the year
Offensive
versus
player of the year. That's where
versus the
somebody like
MVP.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, so I'm right there with you. So, like Jeff, I would agree with you. It's just like, okay, from the gambling perspective, where's the money going to be at the end of this bet?
I mean, who would have a better
From the
chance?
gambling So, Sean, from the gambling perspective, the only bet to be made right now is Brock Purdy. That's the only bet. That's the only bet to be made right now.
I like that.
Because if the Niners go to Philly and win the game comfortably and Purdy looks great, Purdy's going to be the second favorite.
Is there a
And
chance
you're not
McCaffrey can jump
gonna-
him, though?
I think the voters are too dense to vote for a non-quarterback.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think McCaffrey. If you give the award to McCaffrey over Hill, and this is no slight to McCaffrey, who is amazing in his own right, and we saw what happened in the Niner offense in that Cleveland game when you took him off the field. It's completely ridiculous. If Hill gets to the season on the pace he's on, breaks the receiving record, plays 16 or 17 games. If he doesn't play week 18, if the Dolphins have the division wrapped up, fine. But Tyreek Hill has to be ahead of Christian McCaffrey for anyone who has watched this year in the way we're doing the voting. I know the odds don't dictate that, but Hill is more important to the Dolphins than McCaffrey is to the Niners, and that I think should be saying everything because of showing how important McCaffrey is to that Niner team.
I am the owner of a 50-1 Brock Purdy MVP ticket. Just to put that out there.
I think that's a great ticket, Sean.
Yeah,
that is a great ticket.
50-1. And Jeff, John, and I think we have a sandwich bet that I said that Purdy will receive an MVP vote, and John Jansen said a few weeks ago that I was out of my mind. This was probably about 8 weeks ago, to be honest with you. So, look, I might be getting a sandwich out of the deal too. I don't know.
Yeah, you won't be.
He's gonna get a vote.
Especially Dak Prescott is a better MVP candidate than Brock Purdy.
We'll find out. Hey, look, it's week 13. There's still a lot of game to be played. A lot of games. All right, Jeff, we've been all over the gauntlet in the NFL side. Let's get on over to the college football side. Pac-12 championship. They're all big this week, right? But this is probably SEC and Pac-12 would just say neck and neck. Oregon is a 9.5-point favorite. 66.5 is your total on this one, taking place in your backyard out there in Vegas. Oregon lost to Washington by 3 earlier this year. Washington's undefeated, yet they're catching 9.5. What gives on that point spread, and where do you stand on the game?
Oh, I will be there at Allegiant on Friday night. Very excited for that. The line is right. The line is right, Sean. Just look at how these teams have played since Washington won that game, and that was a coin flip. That game was a coin flip. If Oregon makes that kick at the end of regulation and go to overtime, who knows what happens in overtime? Maybe Oregon wins, maybe Washington still wins. We don't know. So that was as close to a coin flip you're ever going to see in a college football game between two high-end teams. Since then, Washington has probably been the 18th best team in the country. They really have not played at a high level at all during this run. I mean, the USC game, they were fortunate. USC's defense was pathetic. They could have very easily lost that game. Oregon State was an even game in Corvallis, where Oregon State doesn't snap the ball through the end zone on a punt. They might lose that one as well. Arizona State had them dead to rights until the pick six. This Washington team is not. They're not the third best team in the country. I get why they're rated in the top 4 in the college football rankings. They'll probably be number 3 after Ohio State lost to Michigan last week. But they're not the third best team. Oregon, on the other hand, at the moment, I think is the best team in the country with the way they've played since that Washington one. And Bo Nix Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix are the only two people that could possibly get a Heisman vote for me at this point. No one else is even remotely close to me for those two guys. So, yeah, I think the line's right. Would it shock me if Washington pulled the outright upset? No, because we've seen that they are capable of playing at an elite level. They have a great offense. They have a defense that I don't think gets enough credit for coming up big in big spots. But I just think the Ducks are significantly better. And when push comes to shove, I think the better team finds a way, and they win, they cover, and Oregon gets into the college football playoff, and they are going to be a team that no one wants to draw in that semifinal.
Wow. That is amazing to hear. Now, quick little follow-up. Penix is 16-1. That's not worth a little sprinkle, because if they do beat Oregon, wouldn't he be considered? Wouldn't he be a front runner for the Heisman?
It's a fascinating angle, Sean. It is, because if there is a universe where Penix and the Huskies win and Penix completely outplays Nix, and people were watching that game with the only other realistic candidate not playing this week in Jaden Daniels. I don't think Penix, unless if Penix does something just completely outrageous this week, I just don't see it. I think he's just too far behind those two guys, but you want to put a little pizza money on it. I think there are worse 16-1 bets out there that you can make.
I like that. All right. I'm going to have to get some action on that one. All right.
Interesting.
Okay, let's keep it moving as far as college football is concerned. Get on over to the SEC game. I think we're still holding 5.5. Georgia, 5.5 point favorites, 55. Any chance Alabama gives us some game, keeps it close, maybe comes out on top, plus 180 on the money line?
Yeah, I mean, it's Alabama, right? I mean, they absolutely are capable of keeping this thing close. Georgia really messed around last week, but that Georgia Tech team is one of the I'm very happy I don't have to bet anymore of that team's games, because they were the most perplexing team in the whole country to beat Georgia Tech. So happy that it'll only be a bowl game for them, which I almost assuredly won't bet. But for this one, look, guys, Georgia has looked like the number one team in the country the last month. They finally have looked like it. Carson Beck has looked really good. Brock Bowers is healthy. That defense is obviously loaded with talent. Alabama was, I still cannot believe the type of defense that Auburn threw out there on that 4th and goal from the 31. I mean, all three of us could have put a better defensive strategy out there, and that's saying something. That was pathetic, what Auburn did. And Alabama should have lost, and it should have been all over for them. But here we are, and usually when you give a team like that a second life, they usually take advantage of it. If we get back to 6, I'm going to take it with Bama. I'm not sure if they get there outright, but this game is going to be close. And I don't see Georgia running out Alabama. I don't see Bama running out Georgia on the flip side. But these are, to me, two. When Bama's right, Bama is a top 3 team in the country. They just only have been right, though, probably in the 12 games, maybe about 3 of them. They've looked like the team that I think they should be. So it's kind of a roulette wheel of what you're getting out of this Bama team on a weekly basis.
That's fair. I like it. The great Jeff Parles. Last one, Jeff, your favorite college football play this week. What do you got on your card? Your favorite one?
Ooh, it's a good question, Sean. I like New Mexico State getting all those points in Liberty. Jerry Kill has obviously done an insanely good job with one of the worst programs to have to be the head coach of. There's nothing in Las Cruces. It's down to 10 in most spots. I think that's good. I wish I bet Texas when the lines came out, because I think they're going to run Oklahoma State out of the building. And then the only other one I'd consider is I like the over in the Big Ten game, guys. I like the over.
An Iowa over. Wow.
I know all these games have gone under, but what's stopping Michigan from winning this game 41-3?
Not a damn thing.
41-0?
Not a damn thing.
Oh, man. Absolutely nothing is keeping Michigan from running this thing up.
Well, let me pitch this right back. Let me pitch this right back at you. The team total, because my co-host yesterday, Mark Henry Jr., loved the team total for Michigan. Would you more like the team total for Michigan, or would you rather the total on the game at 36.5, 35.5 now?
I mean, they're both fine, but if Michigan goes over the team total, I think they're blasting over the regular game total also.
Correct.
So, I mean, guys, earlier today, Iowa's team total in both halves was a half.
Come on.
So, I mean, like, what are we doing?
Is that serious? A half a point?
Yes, DraftKings this morning had Iowa's first half and second half team totals as a half. I've only seen that one other time in any football game. The only other time I ever saw it was it was a live one. It wasn't even a pre-flop one. It was a live one. Remember that game during the pandemic year where Kendall Hinton had to play quarterback for the Denver Broncos?
Yes. Yeah.
Wake Forest great, Kendall Hinton.
There you go.
Yeah, where all the guys were in COVID protocols, so they had to play Kendall Hinton, who played a few games at Wake Forest at quarterback and then was an NFL wide receiver. That was a half. That was a half for the second half in that game. The only reason I know that is because yours truly bet over a half in the second half on Denver's point total, and Brandon McManus made a 59-yard field goal to get me home with that. So it's flabbergasting. Again, the fact that Iowa won 10 games is just such a stain on the Big Ten West. How pathetic that division was. And look, I'll credit Ben Braun and Northwestern because that's crazy that they won 7 games with everything that happened with them in the offseason. But that's also a testament to how pathetic that division ended up being. And really, if you're a Wisconsin fan, and I don't know how many of them there are in your neck of the woods, guys, but I would be royally concerned about Luke Fickell with what happened this year. I would be super concerned that this might have been the easiest Big Ten West. Well, Big Ten West doesn't exist after this year, but this is the easiest path he probably will ever have to make it to Indianapolis. And they went 7-5. That's alarming for Fickell. Even with it being his first year, even with instituting a new system, he had to win at least 10 games in Madison this year. They didn't come close.
Yeah, I definitely heard a few people talking about the disappointment with Fickell and that's program this year, but he's not going anywhere. We'll see if he can turn it around next year, and we shall see how this one plays out this week as far as all things college football. And then we get into the Final Four. Jeff Parles, outstanding stuff as always, sir. We'll continue to follow you at Jeff Parles. What's cooking over there in your neck of the woods? What do you guys got going on at South Point?
Usual stuff. Our friend Frank Nicotero goes from 3 o'clock Eastern to 4 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday on the social media channels and our YouTube channel. And then yours truly 5 days a week, weekends, early mornings, hour before kick on Saturday and Sunday. And then during the weekdays, 6 o'clock drive time, East Coast, 6 o'clock Eastern time, Monday, Thursday, and then Friday we're a little bit earlier, but we're still on at the same time.
Excellent stuff, Jeff Parles. Can't thank you enough, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck on all your plays, and I look forward to recapping it all with you, of course, with Jansen next Tuesday, sir.
Sounds good. See you guys next week.
My man, there he is once again. Jeff Parles live from Las Vegas. What's the matter, John? Cat got your tongue?
No. That's good conversation.
Yeah, he's bringing it.
Yeah, he's been bringing the heat a lot lately.
Oh, he's got a new show, so he's got to. He's got to get
the
out
face
there.
of it too. When they put out graphics,
whoa.
When they put out the graphics, guess whose face is on there?
I'm looking at the co-host over here, Miss Alexandra White. I think she needs to be the face.
I know, but for some reason they keep putting his face out there. I don't know why.
Hey, come on. No, I kid. I actually was watching some videos that they were doing. I think last week I caught some with. They were talking about the Eagles game. And fabulous work over there. Of course, they got great names. Chris Andrews. I'm going to murder his last name, but I know he goes by Vinny by the book on socials. Vinny Magalulu. I know how to say it.
You sound like you do.
Malagu. It's that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He's really good though. Vinny by the book. Just very calm and just gives you the numbers from the sportsbook's perspective. I mean, these guys have been doing it for so long. You want to learn? That's how you learn. You go ahead and you start listening to folks like that know what they're talking about. They can give you a little bit more insight on why the Eagles are catching 3 at home, when they're the hottest team in the NFL at 10-1.
Yeah, they'd probably say it's obviously they would.
Yeah, they definitely.
Setting
wow, that Iowa game though. Are you kidding me? With a half a point, it's insane.
Does that surprise you though?
They're not going to get a field goal. What's the final score in this game? 35-0.
It could be. It could be something like that. Yes, I don't even think Michigan gets that much.
See, here's the thing that
I think it's like a 24-0, 24-3 game.
If anyone's wagering on totals, actually both ways, because this applies to sides as well, especially when you get a 9.5 point spread in that Pac-12 championship game. Whoever has the opportunity to get points on the board at the end, like they're going to do it because style points are a factor. If you can blow a team out, dude,
points are
they're going to be throwing the
factor,
football.
yeah.
They're going to be throwing the football in the fourth quarter.
They have to.
You know, so I think when you look at that 9.5, you might normally go, it's a championship game. Look, I think I have to stay away because I was all Washington Huskied up. And then there was a little bit of piece of me that wanted to be, like, all right, everyone keeps telling me Oregon's going to win. I know. I was on Washington when they played Oregon. I get it. Or no, was I? No, was I on Oregon?
On the first game, I was on Washington. This one, I'm not sure.
No, I was on Oregon the first one. I was. And ever since then, I've been back in Washington with their team totals. They were cashing. Last 2 weeks, I don't think they cashed their team totals, but still.
It's been a...
Well,
Jeff
they
is
haven't been
right.
playing
They
well.
just haven't been sharp.
No, they haven't.
And Oregon's just got even sharper. But again, a lot of that game with Washington was just down the field throws,
Correct,
making big plays.
And I think
if
they can still
miss
do that.
those, they can. Oh, absolutely can. If they miss those, though, it could be an ugly game fast. That's how good Oregon's playing. Oregon's so efficient in a way that Washington's not.
Why is Bobby Petrino making headlines here?
He's back in Arkansas, offensive
No.
coordinator.
Oh,
yeah,
OC.
OC there.
Good grief!
But I see somebody tweet, bring back the Harley too.
Dude, Bobby Petrino.
I can't believe we're back in a timeline where Bobby Petrino is on an Arkansas sideline again. That's our timeline right now that we're in. It's the world we're living in.
All right. A little earlier today, I was joined by Sean Bernard, Picks and Roll, talking all things NBA. Of course, there's 8 games on tap in season tournament. Games going off this evening. And I even asked Sean about this, and I thought it was pretty good and something we need to keep our eyes on here. Will teams go at it differently tonight? Tonight's a big night in the in-season tournament. So some of those spreads we were eyeing up, some teams we give you a little bit of lay of the land and who's got a little bit more to play for.
And unfortunately for the Sixers, just wasn't there yet.
They're still alive, believe it or not.
What?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Sean Bernard laid out, it's like literally 5 teams need to win. Or
Yeah,
5
but
teams
what
need to
kind of
lose.
scenario is this?
Oh, they're dead.
Okay.
It's like a 0.00001% chance.
Nice.
But they're still alive. So maybe don't go ahead and burn that red floor just yet.
No, you can burn it. You can burn it right now. Get rid of it.
So Sean Bernard's coming up next. We're going to head down. We're going to go check out the Flyers tonight. Got a final score?
Canes 3, Flyers 1.
Jeez.
What?
Not
Canes are a
you.
good hockey team.
So are the Flyers.
That's the first hockey game I went to.
I'm going to
Canes.
back the home team. I'm taking the Fly Guys.
You
plus
never forget your first time,
135.
Brace.
Yeah, that's it.
You never
DraftKings
forget.
Sportsbook. All right, everybody, good luck on all your plays, but don't touch that dial. Keep it locked right here. All things NBA, Picks and Roll. We open up, of course, with that Lakers beatdown last night. Handed LeBron James
triple-double?
His worst loss in an NBA uniform. Insane. Triple-double in 3 quarters for Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey, the Lambo. We also talk a little bit about the league and what took place yesterday. DeAndre Jordan? That DeAndre Jordan? DeAndre Jordan that played for the Sixers? He went for 19? Ooh, those Clippers, they got issues. All that more coming up on the other side. We'll talk to you.
When something happens to your car, you might say,
Well, that's just great.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome. How nice for me.
but what you really need to say is, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there to help you file your claim.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
It's Ellie Kemper from the podcast Born to Love with a little straight talk about Straight Talk Wireless. See, Straight Talk Gold or Platinum Unlimited plans give you unlimited 5G data and a free Walmart Plus membership and free delivery from your local Walmart store and an included Paramount Plus subscription. I just said plus or and about 57 times, and that's how much value you get from Straight Talk Wireless. Switch or learn more today at Walmart or straighttalk.com.
Requires active service. One offer per eligible Straight Talk account. Standard data usage applies. For Walmart Plus, $35 order minimum for free delivery. Restrictions apply.
apply. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
Corinne O'Connell. I'm the CEO of Habitat for Humanity Philadelphia.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
You don't want to miss 60% off everything during the once-a-year Black Friday event, only at your nearest Banana Republic factory store. Bring home must-have styles and gifting favorites with limited-time deals from just $15.
When seasonal allergies and clogged sinuses make you miserable, you want fast relief. But recently, there's confusion about which cold and allergy products work and which ones don't. In fact, oral phenylephrine, a drug found in many oral decongestants in the cold and allergy aisle, is currently being evaluated by the FDA because it may be ineffective. Luckily, there's a drug-free solution called Navage that for many provides on-the-spot relief. Navage is the natural way to relieve congestion by sucking out the allergens, germs, and mucus that can make you stuffy and miserable. Nasal irrigation works, and Navage makes it quick and easy. But more than anything, it helps you breathe better. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril